honestly, I don't know what has gotten into Doug Ford. I mean, the Ontario Premier, the Premier of the great province of Ontario, he is for those of you who don't know, he's the brother of the late, great Rob Ford, who was made infamous by the lamestream media for the crack epidemic thing. Most of them are probably on crack, but you know. But I don't know what's gotten into him, and this has happened ever since he became the premier. He's been so afraid of what the media think of him. I mean, his brother didn't give a damn what the media thought of him. I mean, he would just do his own thing. He would, and the media hated him. They hated him. They actually, I think they are the ones who are responsible for killing him. He was depressed, and then, I mean, you know, he's responsible for his own actions ultimately, but I think he ate more, did the drugs, all that stuff. He was messed up, yes, I understand that, but it got worse. The media hate the Fords, and they're going to always hate the Fords. No matter what Doug does, they're always going to hate him because he stands for certain things that they don't like. And it's like he's pandering to them. I mean, here he is now calling the people who were and by the way, I am so proud of the Canucks who came out at Queen's Park the other day to protest the coronavirus lockdown. And believe me, this is why I'm waiting. They say they're going to open up in May. I'm giving them one more chance. And when I say open up, I mean open up the way we're used to. I'm giving them one more chance. And if they don't do it, then I will set off a protest. And it's not going to be like the one at Queen's Park. I will go to a beach or a playground, which is supposed to be locked off, and we'll gather people. And I want to provoke the law to come after us. The law didn't come after them. I want to provoke them to come after us. Because we have a right to go anywhere we want. And I know there are a few idiots on the comment section of Facebook. I mean, I heard one person say, oh, well, get their names and don't give them the health care if they get sick. Well, guess what? The health care is there for us when we need it, okay? We need it. Otherwise, we could say, people who eat chips, don't give them health care. Because the chips will kill them. People who drive cars, if they get into an accident, don't give them health care. Don't do it. Don't do it. People who walk around the streets of Toronto, certain parts of Toronto, Jane and Finch, don't give them health care. It's a dangerous area. They could get stabbed. People who make those comments are fools. They are idiots. They are the ones that natural selection missed. And Obia will take care of them. But going back to Doug Ford, he called the individuals who were protesting yahoos. And he's criticizing. Now, ever since this coronavirus thing, Doug has looked so weak on television. He looks frightened, almost like somebody's holding a gun to his head and forcing him to speak a script. And it's hurting him. This constant pandering to the media is hurting him. Almost every single one of those people who were protesting, I guarantee you probably voted for him. Or somebody like him. I guarantee you. The people who are protesting, they're not liberals. They're not socialists. Those are people who like when the government has power and is authoritarian and tells them what to do. These are cucks. These are masochistic cucks. Liberal voters, socialistic voters, they're masochistic. They're simps. Any man who would have the gall to vote for a socialist or a liberal, he's a simp. Any woman who's voting liberal or socialist is a typical Karen. She is somebody who is very probably angry, whatever. These are the type of people who would support this tough, authoritarian, in-your-face type of thing. These people who want freedom and who want sensible dealing with, or who are skeptical of what the government tells them when it comes to these things like coronavirus, these are Doug's people. And for him to just insult them like that is only hurting him. And this is not the first time Doug has done it. This is why I'm speaking out, and it pains me to do this, because Doug is very special to me. I helped him get elected. I feel. I did. I love that family. And it pains me to do this because I don't think he's a bad person. I think that he is afraid. And I don't think there's anything to be afraid of. Maybe he saw what the media did to his brother, and someone probably told him, "Hey, boy, the moment you get out of line, you're going in the grave with it." So he's frightened, you see. But this isn't the first time he did it. I mentioned that when we went to Ford Fest last year, my friend who had the Faith Goldie shirt, some PC guy, progressive conservative, I don't know, he looked homosexual or something like that. He looked like I don't know, maybe he was asexual. I don't know. He kind of looked a little homosexual. Nothing wrong with that, but he came up in a very, this is probably the only time he's ever been tough. I mean, this is what I'm just observing. He looks like somebody who doesn't get the opportunity to be tough, probably lives with mama and all that stuff. Came up to my friend and said, "You put that shirt on, you take that shirt, this and that," and just bullying and everything like that. It's like everything was so controlled and managed. When I went to go shake hands with Doug to sign my book, one of the guards, I had a Trump shirt on, not because I particularly, I'm like a Trump fanatic, but I like him, but I'm not a Trump fanatic. I wore it and I put Ford Nation on the back. He said, "Zip that shirt up," all this sort of stuff. It's like these people are afraid of what the media has to say about them. And the media doesn't like Doug. They're never going to like him. So for Doug Ford to be calling those protesters who are demanding rightfully their freedom, coronavirus has killed less than 1% of people who have got it. Less than 1%. Sweden has had no lockdown. Taiwan has had no lockdown. Japan has had no lockdown. Their population isn't going faster than any others. In fact, Sweden's population is doing better than most other countries. So, all the facts are on our side. Our side. And forgive me that the door is open so, some air could come in, so there's traffic, but forgive me. The facts are on our side, though. All these so-called experts have been so wrong about everything. They said, don't close the border with China. That this virus knows no borders. Now all the borders are shut. Many of them even said, don't bother with this shutdown. And look at us now. And now in fact, many of these same media people, they were actually saying, don't worry about it. And if you worry about coronavirus, you're racist. And now they're saying, if you don't worry about it, you are a crazy, inbred conspiracy theorist, this and that. It's like, it's obvious that these people have never been more wrong about one thing, and you're expecting me to believe you now? You expect me to believe that if I don't just shut up and sit in my house, and which will lower my immune system even more, and just listen to the government lock, stock, and barrel until Bill Gates comes out with an immune system killing vaccine, this thing isn't going to kill me. And then Doug Ford comes out now with some plan to reopen Ontario, which really doesn't say anything. It sounds like it came from Justin the tacky, tar-faced mackdaddy Trudeau himself. So I'm pleading with Doug. I'm not trying to attack him. I love Doug. I'm a little disappointed, though. We elected him because we know what his brother did. We know about the Ford family, going back to his father, a tough, strong, no-nonsense backbencher in the Harris government, he was in the Harris government, but, he's a populist. He wasn't a corporate blue Tory type. Doug Ford Sr. was a straight-shooting street guy. And then Rob Ford, and he, with all his faults, loved the people of Toronto, loved the people who are in the suburbs of Toronto, the Scarborough, Etobicoke, not just one of the only mayors who didn't only focus on downtown, stood up to the establishment, stood up to the gravy train, stood up to the council. We loved it. Stood up to the media, punched them in the nose. We loved it. And then we said Doug Ford is going to do the same thing. And it's like he's pandering now. I mean, this is why I'm an independent, because if it's not the liberals, it's the conservatives. And the conservatives are generally better than the liberals and the socialists, but the problem with them is that they are frightened. They are frightened. And they really don't have anything to be frightened about. Because outside of the big wig, rich GTA suburbs, even within the outer limits of the GTA, I mean, outside of the Mississaugas and the Markhams and the downtown Torontos and the Richmond Hills and the Vaughns, outside of all those places, this is genuinely a conservative country. I mean, with the exception of the Newfies out there and them Easterners out there. I don't. Most of them marry their cousins anyway, so it's whatever. But I mean, seriously, even the Quebecers, who a lot of people love to hate on, they are very nationalistic. I mean, so really, these people have nothing to be afraid of. It just takes will, and it takes someone who's strong, who is not going to just pander. I'm disappointed, though, for Doug for calling them that. Really. He needs to stop that. Because if this doesn't end soon, there's going to be more protests. And the more he tries to pander to the media, the more it's going to hurt him, because it's the more I'm going to attack him. And a lot of his people listen to what I have to say. And I guarantee you they're not going to give, I mean, some of you will. Some of you will. But I know a lot of people who won't give Doug the benefit of the doubt. Because they know that they've seen what he has done. They see that he is not as tough as his brother. They see that he's been pandering, not just now, but for the past few years, pandering to the media and everyone else. So you gotta stop that, Doug. You gotta stop that. This is the